Good morning. Welcome to Convince Me, presented by BetMGM. It is 11 a.m. The betting windows are open wherever you are making your bets. It is the most exciting window in sports. We got everything you need to get ready for the day. All the facts, none of the fluff, with a stellar crew. Darren Rovell, Samantha Previte on the Action Network Fantasy News Desk. We got Simon Hunter. We got Sean Koerner. We got Chris Raybon. We got all the picks, all the data, all the research available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. Before we get to it, Darren Rovell has put out a poll on his Twitter feed that we are going to update throughout the day on our show because we are that dynamic. Which of these massive double-digit dogs, the Bears, the Lions, the Texans line, which could be up to plus 20 against the Arizona Cardinals. Which of those is most likely to cover? Go to Darren Rovell's Twitter feed during the show. He's going to update us. Make your choice. Let's get started with all the good stuff. Sean Koerner, let's talk about some player props. What do you got for us?
Well, Chad, I know how much you love weather-related player props, so I have one for you today, and it's Brandon Aiyuk to go under 32.5 receiving yards tonight against the Colts. So some weather-related terms being used for tonight involve atmospheric river and bomb cyclone. So I think we should see some rain tonight, along with some 20-mile-an-hour winds. Plus, it's always fun to fade Brandon Aiyuk. I mean, he's been one of the biggest disappointments in fantasy football this season. He's only cleared this number once all season. So you're telling me in a monsoon he's going to go over this number? Hard pass for me. I'm projecting this closer to 22.5 yards. So you're getting about 10 yards of value here. So give me the under.
I love that. Brandon Aiyuk has sort of become a little bit of a fantasy football meme because Kyle Shanahan has already called him out because he has been frustrated that he wasn't getting more playing time. And Shanahan's like, go ahead, practice harder, beat the other guys out on the team, and then you can start getting more balls and get on the field a little bit more. This is your exclusive Sunday Night Football prop, only available here on Convince Me. Fans, if you think you know how many yards Brandon Aiyuk is going to have in the game tonight, tweet us at Action Network HQ. If you are right, you will win $100. Listen, anytime we can get a bomb, cyclone, and atmospheric rivers, that's not just good for us, that's also good for Action because people love to read about that stuff. Simon Hunter, can you top atmospheric rivers?
I wanted to give you a layup this week, Chad. I was thinking to myself, what could I get Chad to pick? What's better than a revenge game? Hopkins playing against the Texans this week. Anytime touchdown, minus 105. Love it. You know they're gonna force it in there. You know him and Kyler were talking before the game, and he's just like, just get me a couple shots. Let me just get one touchdown against these guys I played with for 7-8 years. Give me one. Minus 105. It feels like BetMGM's giving us a steal on this one. So I love that anytime touchdown for Nuke Hopkins.
How is that even possible that he would be at minus 105? That does feel like a steal. That almost feels like I'm basically just putting my money in a bank account for 3 hours and I'm going to get a massive, massive return. I'm sure Raybon has something to say about this. He's not going to go with a weather game. He's not going to go with sort of a fun, clearly a lock, our first player prop lock that is a no-brainer. He's going to go with like some, receiver on the Jets or something.
Corey Davis under 51.5 receiving yards.
Dude,
is the prop I'm going with, Chad. And I mean, what's more fun than Bill Belichick? Bill Belichick is going to take away your top option. The Patriots are number 2 in DVOA against number 1 wide receivers this year. Remember, they don't even have Stephon Gilmore. They traded him. He hasn't played anyway. So they're still doing their thing without him. And they're number 4 in schedule adjusted receiving yards allowed to number 1 wide receivers. Corey Davis's median on the year is only 45. So this number would be too high in any matchup. But New England also plays the highest rate of man coverage in the league. Corey Davis has just a 46% catch rate against man coverage this year. In the first matchup against Belichick, 8 yards, 5 targets, 2 catches, all season lows, under 51.5 for Corey Davis. I have it projected at the median of 45, so I have about 6-7 yards of value here.
Oh my God, these are all so good. And by the way, I have to admit something. Obviously, I would read the script before we come on the air. I had completely forgotten who your choice was. And when I said you're going to throw out some random Jets receiver, I actually had completely forgotten who it was. I just knew it was going to be like, I was thinking in my head, what's the grossest thing I can think of right now that Raybon would do? And that was the first thing that came in my head. I got to say, I like all of these. What I do want to get from both Raybon and Koerner is, why do you think the price on DeAndre Hopkins to score a touchdown at -105 is so low? That feels like in a game in which the Cardinals could go off, in which it is expected they will go off. How is he only -105 to score a touchdown? Raybon, you're first.
Well, if you read my guy Sean Koerner stuff, he likes the over on James Conner's carries, and that's precisely the reason. This could be a game script where the Cardinals get up early. Touchdowns are always, for a receiver, they're spreading the ball around pretty evenly. So I think that's the issue. It's that if they get, an AJ Green touchdown and a Kirk touchdown, they may not need any more passing touchdowns in this game. So I think that's why.
Koerner, since Raybon stole your thunder, do you have anything to add there?
Well, Hopkins is having sort of a bizarre season where he's not getting that many targets, but he's scoring a ton of touchdowns. I mean, his touchdown rate this year is 23%. So he's going to regress going forward. But yeah, I think that they're not factoring in the revenge narrative enough here. So if you just go with models, the line makes sense, but certainly the motivating factor today, I'm with Simon. I think that, I would factor in the revenge narrative, and they will try to get him a touchdown today for sure.
Well, in keeping with tradition, Sean Koerner somehow found a way to convince me to take somebody else's.
No. Mine has a much better chance.
It's never Brandon Aiyuk weather, Chad. It's never Brandon Aiyuk weather.
Exactly.
I just like that Sean Koerner. He shows some fight. As soon as I said I was about to go with Simon, he's like, "No, you're going with me."
Well, you're putting words in my mouth.
By the way, how could I not go against Brandon Aiyuk in a bomb cyclone? Let's go with Koerner. Let's get a game going tonight. Let's see what we can do. By the way, don't forget, this was Sean Koerner's exclusive Sunday Night Football prop here on Convince Me. If you think you know how many yards he will have in tonight's game, reply to @Action Network HQ with the total number. You can win some cash. Darren Rovell, I know you're going to talk about weather at some point. What do you got for us in the news desk?
That's a hell of a tease, Chad, because I'm not going to talk about weather right now. We'll do it in my second hit. I'm talking today.
I told you I haven't read the script.
Okay, that's good. I think it's the key to spontaneity.
Yeah, keeps it fresh.
Okay, so we're going to our Action Network data. According to our market data, when teams have at least 70% of the tickets in the bets, they are 16-6 against the spread this year, and they are 7-0 in the last 2 weeks. Those games, we have 3 that fit that condition. Today, the Patriots, 81% of the tickets against the Jets. The Panthers, 77% of the tickets against the Giants. And the Packers, 76% of the tickets against the Washington football team. Those numbers are even higher when you look at BetMGM, our sponsors data. 87% on the Patriots on tickets, 84% on the Panthers, and 78% on the Packers. Also looking at trying to update numbers, what's going on. There are 2 numbers that are holding: 57.5 for Chiefs Titans, the highest total of the year, 62% of the money at BetMGM, still on the over. 42.5 for the total of the game in San Francisco tonight. I will get to that and the weather. So those are the 2. And then the big move we saw today, that big number, the 18.5 that the Texans plus 18.5 against Arizona, that is now 19.5 at BetMGM and 20 at DraftKings. The last time a team covered 20 was last year, the Chiefs against the Jets, and they did cover that. Again, check out my poll. We have 3,000 votes so far. Which underdog will cover today? The Bears, the Lions, or the Texans?
Check out the poll. I'm already anxious as someone who was bet on the Jets, but I did bet the Packers at -7.5. So maybe one of those things will work out for me. Speaking of spreads and sides, let's get to our next segment. Sean Koerner, you're up first. since you live inside of a lids store, it's hard for me to really understand how you were giving me a hint as to who you like today.
Yeah, so I like the Bengals plus 6.5 today. And Lamar Jackson has gone 5-0 against the Bengals in his career. However, this is the best Bengals team he's faced. Their defense ranks 5th in DVOA this year, which makes sense. I mean, they have a ton of playmakers at nearly every position on the defensive side of the ball. And the Ravens offensive line has been hit hard with injuries. Ronnie Stanley has been placed on season-ending IR. Bradley Bozeman and Alejandro Villanueva are questionable today. So I think this Bengals defense keeps them in check enough to put pressure on the offense today. And the Bengals offense is the real deal right now. I mean, Joe Burrow has arguably the best wide receiver trio in the league with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. I expect the Ravens to bring the blitz today. They've dialed back the blitz a bit this year, but their 32% blitz rate still ranks 5th in the league. However, Joe Burrow has tore up the blitz this year. He ranks 2nd in quarterback rating against the blitz. So I just think they keep this game close. I'm projecting the spread closer to 4.5. Like I said, this is the best Bengal team Lamar Jackson has faced. So, I think the Bengals maybe win by a field goal here, but either way, the Bengals keep it close and cover the 6.5 point spread.
All right. Well, I know how Simon feels about this bet because on our podcast, The Favorites, this was his Simon Says bet of the week. When this opened at 7, he was still liking it at 6.5. I do have a question about this that I want to get to after everyone's run through all their picks. Simon, go ahead with yours.
Thanks for the opening, Chad.
You bet, buddy.
I was looking at this for a while. Chad hates picking my games. I try to give him ugly dogs and he hates it. So I loved Miami this week. Chad's not going to take Miami. I love the Giants. Chad's not going to pick the Giants. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to go chalk. Let's go with a game during a monsoon. And we're going to go with the 49ers minus 3.5. Love the number now that Jimmy's back. We just saw T.Y.'s out. Campbell's out as well for wide receiver for the Colts. Those are 2 big deep threats that are gone. Wentz isn't really good short. Wentz has been really good long. So in a game, he can't throw it long. He's going to be dumping it off, trying to get in the running backs involved. I think it's going to be pretty easy for the 49ers team to make this really one-sided. And again, the best – people talk all the time, one of the best run blocking schemes in all of football is this 49ers team. So you're telling me in a game where a team's going to be running the ball heavy, I'll take the 49ers coming off a bye week. If this stays under 4, I love this number. So minus 3.5, give it to me.
What about at 4? Because what if someone who's talking right now maybe pulled the trigger too early on Friday afternoon and bet this at minus 4?
I mean, it's not ideal. Like, I'm honestly trying to be smarty and hit a middle because I hit the 4.5 on the Colts when I thought it was Trey Lance being quarterback. But now it's come back heavier on the other side with the 49ers just because of the weather and it's Jimmy G playing. It feels good. It feels like it's a good number. So I don't hate it at 4. I just like it better at 3.5 because I got to see this game kind of being wonky and landing exactly on the 4.
Well, listen, credit to Raybon and Stuckey from the Action Network Football Podcast, because I know earlier in the week, like you just said, you like the Colts at 4.5. And then when you and I discussed it on our podcast, I recited the litany of stats that Raybon had about how good the Niners could be in this spot and the challenges that teams have traveling west and all the systems that back up the Niners. So I feel like together, me and Raybon convinced you to bet on the Niners.
Raybon, is that what you're telling yourself?
Yeah. Well, you know what? We all live in our own world, right? We're the centers of our own universe. Raybon, what do you got?
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles +3 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Listen, the Vegas Raiders had their big, galvanize around the interim head coach and get the bad taste out of our mouth with Gruden win last week. Now this is a letdown spot. Coming back home against Philadelphia. Philadelphia runs the zone heaviest defensive scheme in the NFL. Derek Carr has been eating against man coverage. Against zone, he's averaging nearly 3 passing yards per attempt less versus zone coverage. And again, Philly pretty much all zone. They're one of the few teams that almost never plays man coverage unless it's like a goal line defense or something like that. Then you had Darren Waller, Vegas's top offensive player, added to the injury report on Saturday with an ankle issue, which is not good because Waller is their best receiver against zone coverage. So it's just a bad spot for the Raiders in addition to the letdown spot. And this is one of those games that, when you see a bad team early in the year, team that won 6 or fewer games last season, going on the road with a spread up to 8.5, those teams are covering at a 61% clip going back to 2003, according to our Action Labs data. So this is just one of those classic, road dog spots in a matchup of two mediocre teams where I want the dog, especially because of the way they match up with Philly against the Raiders offense.
I'm going to say something very controversial here. I love all of these. In fact, I have already bet all of these. In fact, I would say if you're smart and you're watching this show, you will find a way to bet all of these. And I would say do a little money line parlay on the Bengals and the Eagles. I don't need anyone else to convince me of anything right now because I love all three of these so much. I'm going with the Eagles +3 only because I actually like this game so much. I bet the Eagles on the money line. I didn't even bother with the spread. I bet the Eagles on the money line. They're about +126 at BetMGM right now. Fly, Eagles, fly, Chatty, fly. We're going with the Eagles +3 because that's what Raybon's got, but I'll do it on the money line. Samantha, what do you got?
Thank you, Chad. In addition to these 6 teams out during this Class 5 by NATO, we have an absolute unit of an injury report today. So I am going to hit you with some of the most important actives and inactives you need to know when setting those Week 7 lineups. First, Rob Gronkowski and Antonio Brown are out this week versus the Bears. Tight end OJ Howard could be an interesting start, and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans could both see more targets with Brown out. On the other side of the ball, Damian Williams has been activated from the COVID-19 reserve list in time for this Bears-Bucks game. This is a downgrade for Khalil Herbert in this brutal matchup. Next, we have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, both expected to play today versus the Titans. Hill was on the injury report with a quad issue, and Kelce suffered a stinger in Week 6. It's a great matchup this week against one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Next are Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin, who are both expected to play today versus the Packers. Gibson has been dealing with a shin injury for weeks, was in and out of the game last week, making him much riskier this week. JD McKissic could see an increased workload and could be an interesting start, especially in PPR format. Next, Darren Waller, as we just talked about, was added to the injury report on Saturday with an ankle injury. Doesn't feel great, quote unquote. He is expected to be a game time decision, which could be dicey given the game starts at 4:05. His backup, Foster Moreau, will get the start, though I don't think he offers too much upside for fantasy purposes. The tight end on the other side of the ball is Dallas Goedert. He is expected to play today against the Raiders after missing Week 6 on the COVID-19 reserve list. He is an excellent start, especially after the team traded Zach Ertz to the Texans Zach Ertz to the Cardinals, of course. And then finally, we have Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, and Saquon Barkley all out today versus the Panthers, while Sterling Shepard is a game time decision, though it is not looking good for him. According to Adam Schefter, this leaves the G-men very lean. Continue to fire up Devontae Booker while Barkley is sidelined. And that is all I have for you for actives and inactives. Back to you, Chad.
Yeah, look, we were talking about it before we came on the air that Sterling Shepard was having a hard time when he was testing this. I know that, Simon, you just mentioned you love the Giants as an ugly dog at +3. I don't know how you can do that. They're basically playing, nothing but second stringers. Let's talk about some totals. Koerner, give me your best total right now.
So my best total was actually taken by someone else, but my second best total is the football team Packers under 47.5. I think I'm going to be attacking football team unders in the near term. Last week I told you to take the under in the football team Chiefs game. That was an easy win, so I'm sticking with them here. I think Aaron Rodgers should have his way against this Washington secondary. They've sort of been the Achilles heel of the defense this season. However, this Packers offensive line could struggle against Washington's front four. I mean, the football team still has one of the best front four in all of football. And the Packers are still a week away from getting David Bakhtiari back from the IR, it looks like. He was able to turn to practice this week, but he probably needs another week of practice. Center Josh Myers, their second-round draft pick, has been placed on IR. So, I think they could have some issues protecting Rodgers here. And, the Packers are more than willing to just, run the crap out of the ball if they get the lead. Last week, Rodgers only attempted 23 passes in their 24-14 win over Chicago. So I also like, attacking the Packers unders as a result. And, this Washington offense should struggle again this week. They're missing two key offensive linemen still in Brandon Scherf and Sam Cosmi. And, running back Antonio Gibson is playing through a stress fracture in his shin, so he could be ineffective again. And they're still missing Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas, who are their two top targets outside of Terry McLaurin. So, I'm projecting this closer to 45.5, and 47 is a key number when it comes to total. So I love the under 47.5 here.
Listen, I've had shin splits. That's bad enough.
Yes.
Playing through a stress fracture in the NFL, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. I do want to ask you at the end of this, what your favorite one was. It shows you the value. You got to get in that script early, Koerner. You got to get in there early, and you got to take the number that you want before someone else swipes it from you. Simon or Raybon got there first. Simon, what do you got?
I'm almost positive it's not mine that he loved. People complain, Chad. They complain all the time. They say, all we do here is take dogs and unders. Well, guess what, people? I took a favorite this week. Now I'm taking an over. Give me Atlanta, Miami, over 47.5. Ugly matchup. I love it. Love it for the over. Atlanta, they've been one of the best teams in the red zone the last 3 to 4 weeks. They're kind of figuring out this whole Arthur Smith came in. The offense didn't look right. They've gotten it right the last couple of weeks. They've been playing better against these bad teams. And Matt Ryan himself has been playing better. I thought Tua looked good last week. I know they didn't win against the Jaguars, but he had a couple of moments where you saw the flash of why he was such a high draft pick. And the other moments where you're just like, oh, God, this guy's been not playing football for the last 5 weeks. So having a week under his belt, I feel like he's going to be playing better this week, too. They'll have a lot of their offensive pieces back. The secondary is trash for Atlanta. One of the worst secondaries in football. So, again, this should be a high-scoring, high-flying game. I would have been way higher and bigger on this game if there wasn't such a chance for rain right now down in Florida. Doesn't matter to me, though. I still feel like you're getting a good number as long as it stays under 48.5. I love the value in this over.
I love your spirit. I love the way you're changing your strategy to try to convince me to take some games of yours. Raybon doesn't change anything. He just puts out the ugliest stuff he possibly can. And if I don't like it, screw it. Give me what you got.
Jets, Patriots, under 42.5. First of all, this game is a repeat of a game we took the under on and cashed. I think it was week 2 when these teams met. So now we have a divisional second matchup of the year, which are always tighter, lower scoring than the first ones. We have these two teams are still below average in situation neutral pace. The Patriots are 25th. The Jets are 19th. The Jets, their last 5 trips to Foxborough, so spanning back 5 years, they have not scored more than 14 points in Foxborough in 6 years. The last 5 times, 14 or less for the Jets. That's Bill Belichick. That's why I also like the Corey Davis prop under. And then this New England offense, they're scoring under 21 points a game. They're scoring just 20.8 points per game. Robert Saleh actually has the Jets defense playing well. Remember, he's a defensive coordinator, came over from San Francisco. So he's usually going to have that side of the ball playing better than the offense where there's less hope. And the Jets are also coming off a bye. So they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the Patriots offense, which is still the only threat to really go over in this game. Like a rookie quarterback going into Foxborough, team hasn't scored 14 in 5 years. The Jets are going to put up a huge number, so you just worry about the Patriots doing it. But with 2 weeks to prepare, I think this is just a great spot to go with the ugly under once again. And Chad, you took my prop and you took my under last week and we hit. So we're trying to do this again this week and go 2 for 3. So
It's
take
true.
my ugly under.
It's true. When I go with you, I tend to win. You know why? You are a winner, Raybon. Koerner, who would you have taken if you had gotten into the script first?
So it was, well, I do still like the Falcons Dolphins overcall. It was the Jets Pats under 42.5. And, normally I would rush in there and take it, but the Patriots have like 14 players that are questionable. So I was going to wait and see the injury report, but Raybon just went in there and took it. So I guess
Listen,
the early bird got the Patriots under here.
he's very, very sneaky, Raybon. It's actually incredible. Listen, I don't know what to tell you guys. I want to root for something today. And and I need a reason when Red Zone comes on and they're showing me a Falcons Miami game. I want to enjoy it. And I've also got Matt Ryan to lead the league in touchdown passes at 38-1. So this is his get back in the conversation game. Give me Matt Ryan to throw 7 touchdowns and get the total all by himself. Give me the Dolphins. Give me the Falcons. Give me Simon Hunter. You and me together, buddy. Over 47.5. That's what we're going to do. I actually like all of these. I think everybody should bet every single thing we just said. We've made 9 picks in all these segments. I like Brandon Aiyuk under 33.5. I like the Eagles +3. I also like him on the money line. I was convinced to take Atlanta, Miami over 47.5. But I do. I like the Washington football team and the Packers under that number. And I like New Jersey. I like the New York Jets and the New England Patriots under 42 as well. I think they're all fantastic. What else is fantastic, Samantha? Who should we start? Who should we sit?
There's not too much fantastic, Chad, with 6 teams on bye. I know some lineups might be looking really scary. I just need warm bodies in some leagues. So as always, I'm going to hit you with 3 starts and 3 sits you need to know about when tinkering with your week 7 lineups. First, I want you to start Allen Robinson on the road versus the Bucs. I know this is mega cringe since A-Rob has been one of the biggest busts of the year. He's currently wide receiver 58.5 PPR and has yet to score double-digit fantasy points this season. The good news, his targets are there. Fields is coming off of his best game to date. And if Matt Nagy is smart, the Bears will abandon the run quickly and throw all over this Buccaneers leaky secondary. Both Robinson and Darnell Mooney should be good plays this week in theory. Next, you should start Chuba Hubbard on the road against the Giants. Hubbard is a must start once again with CMC on injured reserve. If you include the game when McCaffrey went down early, Hubbard is RB 17.5 PPR. He found the end zone for the first time in his career last week and should have a field day against the Giants defense, which ranks 3rd worst in the NFL against the run. And then finally, I want you to start Zach Ertz versus the Texans. Ertz is free from the Eagles' 2-man tight end committee and should get a huge boost by joining the Cardinals. They have a better coaching staff, better passer, and they face Houston this week, which should immediately vault him into tight end 1 territory. Moving on to sits, you may not be able to sit all 3 of these guys with 6 teams on bye, but you probably wish you could. First, I definitely need you to sit Corey Davis on the road in Foxborough. Raybon has been all over this. The Jets will be well rested coming off of their week 6 bye, only to be met by rookie quarterback kryptonite Bill Belichick. To say gangrenes as Zach Wilson struggled in his first meeting against New England would be a vast understatement. The rookie threw 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in an embarrassing meltdown, and Davis scored just 2 fantasy points. Next, I want you to sit Robbie Anderson on the road versus the Giants. I, for one, refuse to fall for the Robbie Anderson honeypot. He was targeted a whopping 11 times last week and scored a touchdown. Unfortunately, he caught 3 of those 11 targets, which has been a theme all year. He has an abysmal 37.5% catch rate, which ranks 3rd worst in the NFL right now among 197 qualified pass catchers. And then finally, I am out on Damian Williams on the road in Tampa. He performed very well in the last 2 games, but missed week 6 after testing positive for COVID-19. He was activated yesterday, but it's a brutal matchup against the Buccaneers, who are allowing an NFL low 54.8 rushing yards per game. Toss in the fact that he's at a timeshare with Khalil Herbert. Both are easy sits for me. And that is all I have for you for start sit. Go get those lineups set and good luck in week 7.
Listen, on Allen Robinson, you totally had me right up until you said if Matt Nagy is smart. And I will not make any judgment about the man's intellectual power, about his IQ, or how he manages his life overall. As a football coach, the answer to that if is no. So it's going to be very hard for me to see Allen Robinson doing what you say, only because Matt Nagy is not that smart as a football coach. Darren
This
Rovell.
is the breakout game.
This is the breakout. And listen, by the way, a couple weeks ago, you were all over sitting Allen Robinson, and it was spot on. So I am hoping that this week he gets healthy against the Bucs secondary. Darren, you were going to give us an update in the poll, and that involves the Bears. But what do you have in the news desk before that?
So first, I have that this is the first game in 77 games, according to Elias, that the Arizona Cardinals are double-digit favorites. There are only two teams above that. Of course, the New York Jets at 152 straight games, and the New York Giants at 161 straight games without being a double-digit favorite. If we look at our dollars from BetMGM, so this is all what we have on the poll. 60% of the money is on the Bucks to cover, 72% on the Rams, and 72% on the Cardinals. I'm going to get back to those results in a second. First, let's talk about Sunday night football weather. 15 to 18. Whenever you see the word gusts, my folks, that's in trouble. With rain, 85 to 90% chance of rain. That total is at 42.5. And the amount of people at BetMGM, or sorry, not the amount of people, the amount of money on the under is 91%, almost matching the age of Tony Bennett, who left his heart in San Francisco. Sorry, I'm trying to compete with Samantha today, okay? Then the other note I have is, and this is very rare, everyone knows I'm an unders guy. I should have an unders club jacket. 8 out of 12 games, the money is on the under at Caesars today. 8 out of 12 games, the money is on the under. And as you know, people like to go with the over. I'm going to give you a quick poll update. This poll will end at 3:45 p.m., which will give us the chance to review it and put it out right before all those are late games. So here we go. We have, how many votes do we have here? We have, oh, here it is. Remember my scrolling? Okay. The poll, I can't even find my damn poll. Here we go. 4,200 votes. 39% the Bears to cover at plus 12.5 against the Bucks. 32% the Texans. Of course, now we have 19.5, 20, and 29% the winless Lions just to cover plus 16.5 against the Rams. Those polls will remain open until 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. So vote.
Everything is shaping up to go against the Bears right now. That's all I have to say about that. And there is one person on this show, two people on this show that love an over today, me and Simon Hunter. We love the Atlanta, Miami over 47.5. Here's a recap of what everybody, all the experts on the show, I'm saying bet every one of these folks. Brandon Aiyuk under 32.5 receiving yards from Sean Koerner. He also likes the Bengals, if you can't tell from his hat, at plus 6.5 against the Ravens. And he likes the Washington football team, Green Bay, under 47.5. Simon Hunter likes DeAndre Hopkins, anytime touchdown, minus 105. He likes the Niners, minus 3.5. He likes Atlanta, Miami, over 47.5. And Chris Raybon, of course, is populating with a lot of Jets disgustingness. He likes Corey Davis, under 51.5 receiving yards. He likes the Eagles, plus 3. Take him on the money line. Take it from me. He also likes the New York Jets, New England Patriots, under 42.5. 4, Darren Rovell and Samantha Previte. 4, Simon Hunter, Chris Raybon, Sean Koerner. I am Chad Millman. This has been Convince Me from BetMGM. Good luck today, folks.